going the other way. So we'll just have to wait and see.
What makes it easy when you only got to leapfrog a few marks, doesn't it?
I think I'm actually wrong with that 180-degree call, but we'll see what happens.
Yep. Do it again from the beginning. Really
good practice.
Welcome to the 2024 SA Harken Sailing League live stream, supported by the City of Port Adelaide. We're here on the very hot but very beautiful waters of the Port Adelaide River. Today these guys are out here playing for the bragging rights as the Harken SA Sailing League champions, and the right to represent the mighty South Australia at the Sailing League South Pacific Championships, which, as far as I know, Ollie Burnell is a TBC for now. My name is Alex Alder, and you may know me as Alex South, or the 2024 South Australian Mirror State Champion, and I'm joined here in the back of the broadcast van on the hot shores of the river with Ollie Burnell, who was unfortunately knocked out of the event yesterday, but as the 2023 HIA Apprentice of the Year, he really knows how to be resilient, come back the day later, and do what he can to get the show on the road. We are also joined, or lucky to have, our on-water reporter, the roaming Sean Keane, out on a very, very calm-looking Port River. He was the 2022-23 Sharpie National Champion and pretty much just an all-round good guy. Not sure if he's with us at the moment just because of that weather, but I do have Ollie here. How's it looking out there, Ollie?
Yeah, so very light. When we turned up and sat in the van about 15 minutes ago, we had a good 8 knots, but they're struggling to even move at the moment, and the wind's going a bit around in circles. So we'll just have to wait and see here a bit, Alex.
Yeah, unfortunately this hot weather's really playing havoc with the breeze at the moment, and just having a look on the water, that drone shot there is just showing really how glassed out it is out there, which is unfortunate, especially with some of these teams having some, I guess, heavy hitters on board, thinking that summer and sea breeze would be on the cards.
I think these boats definitely need the weight when the wind does come in, so a lot of the teams 4 or 5 up, and some bigger sailors in there, which yesterday and Friday night through the qualifiers you certainly needed the weight on the rail, whereas today those lighter crews, you look at it, the youth crews might be able to pull through, being a bit lighter, a bit smaller.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or they're just going to sit there and rely on momentum, right? That's the other side of things. And speaking of our crews, we have a great lineup of 6 teams today. Those guys had to make it through a qualifying round either on Friday or yesterday, and it leaves us with the final 6, who are skippered by Fraser Baker and Carter Baker, representing the cruising yacht. So we've got those guys representing the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and it looks like we may actually be going into a sequence soon. So we'll keep you informed to that. But in the meantime, just giving you a bit of an idea of who else is out there. We've also got Largs Bay Sailing Club represented by Ryan Kelly, Grange Sailing Club, Jason Clark, Brighton by the Higgins contingent, led by Aussie Higgins, and Royal Perth Yacht Club, led by John Bucknell. So those guys will be battling it out today, and really, I think we've looked over the form, and it could really be anyone's regatta.
Yeah, absolutely. Going through that list of 6 boats, there's very not a lot keeping them apart. So we just had the 3-minute go off then. So they'll get underway. We've probably got, we're probably maxing out at about 4 knots here, Alex.
I think that's generous.
But it is a constant direction, so it'll be about keeping your boat moving, getting through your tacks well, going around the marks well. Yeah,
absolutely. You just want to put yourself between everyone else and the top mark, right?
Yeah, that's a general rule, isn't it? Stay between your competitors and the next mark is always handy. But
absolutely,
we saw yesterday the wind in this harbour flicks around a fair bit, so there's certainly passing lanes, and if you keep your head on your shoulders and stay in the race, you're in it with a chance. So.
Is that what happened yesterday? Just forgot to keep your head on your shoulders?
There were certainly times when you get fixated on a boat, or you worry about covering someone, and someone gets away, and you turn around and a couple of boats have snuck through you, so you really need to. Fleet management's a big thing.
Absolutely, and just with the start list on the screen there, when we come up to 1 minute 30 to go, so that's halfway through this starting sequence, and they're all pretty much sticking around the pin at the moment, and I'm not too sure what the thinking is there, but you can only assume that's where the best of the best breeze is at the moment. It doesn't feel like there's a little bit more on the shoreline, especially over here on this, do you call this the western shore? It's not. It's probably a bit futile asking a Tasmanian, but
yeah, no, I'd be calling it the Western Shore. The boat end of the line is right up under Harts Mill here at the beautiful Port Adelaide, and so I think that pin end is going to be the favoured end. Get away a little bit, get a bit offshore where the holes are less.
Absolutely, and if only they could all have access to this drone shot that we've got at the moment, because you can just make out a little bit of the breeze on the water there, but there really isn't much going around, unfortunately. We previously had about 8 knots here on the river, so it has been a big fade out in this last little while, so hopefully we can get a couple of races in, at least get the elimination round sorted, to leave us waiting for breeze for when we can get the final dance done. Coming into 30 seconds here, 25 seconds now.
So it looks like Grange Sailing Club up at the boat end of the line will probably get a clean start just due to no one else being around them, but may struggle to accelerate in a bit of a hole.
Yeah, look, I don't know if that would be my thinking, but it's easy from the cheap seats, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it'll all come to fruition as we hit the go.
And there's go now. We've got Jason Clark on starboard, not got much speed up there, and I think most of the fleet will do a successful port tack on him at the moment, unfortunately for the Grange Sailing Club crew there.
Yeah, I think he had the right idea there, but just, as I said, seems to be lacking a bit of wind in there, although there could be a close cross coming up here, but no.
Well, it looks like those guys are going to go for an early tack out, and we've got the team from Largs Bay still coming around to get through the start line. They'll be driving around that pin mark. And there's their drive there. So they've actually come in with a fair bit of momentum for how late they started in this race. And it's actually paid off for Ryan Kelly. Those guys are now reaching over the top of the entire fleet. And it's paying dividends for the moment. It looks like they're all going to converge in the middle of the race course, and hopefully this breeze stays on a little bit longer. And as suspected, that breeze has died a little, and they are all coming in together. Oh, look, they look a lot quicker from that angle, don't they, Ollie?
Yeah, they're certainly moving there. A big left-hander, and those poor boats are cruising along very nicely.
It was definitely a Jesus card for the Grange Sailing Club crew, who were sitting there very dead in the water for a while.
Yeah, they've managed to sail through there very well and get out of their hole, I guess. But yeah, that's what it's going to be like today. You've just got to stay in it and take your chances, I think. Yeah,
and that Royal Perth Yacht Club team, who looked like they were doing the right thing for a while, they crossed out over the top of Grange and kept going for it, but probably just went a little bit too far.
Yeah, I think sailing the less distance today might be the thing, and I mean this wind shift really helps that. It's pretty well soldier's course, although boat 2 there, Largs Bay, Ryan Kelly tacking off, probably wants to just go to that left mark by the looks of it.
And a real commanding position for the Royal Perth Yacht Club here, tacking onto starboard, heading into that top mark. It looks like they'll take that starboard pin, I think. Yep, looks like they're rolling straight into another tack to get around that top mark. Might be a bit of argy-bargy though when they turn the corner.
It'd be interesting with a lot of boats turning towards Harts Mill here. Largs Bay's tacked to come to that left mark. Does seem to be a bit of pressure coming off that point at Harts Mill there.
Yeah, I don't mind the Largs Bay idea there. It feels like there's a little bit of pressure here on the shore, but I guess we'll find out soon whether or not it's going to pay. They were late to the start and they managed to pull that off, so this might also work for them.
Yeah, I think in a big left-hander, it probably doesn't look bad with the Royal Perth Yacht Club jibing back in.
Really having to manually get that kite around. It is light out there today.
Yeah, one twist with those headsels as the kite comes through and really ruins your day, really, Alex.
You're not wrong. And keeping that jib up any longer than it needs to be is not a fun time either. We've got Ryan and his team have jibed back, and they're coming back with a bit of pressure by the looks of things. Ooh, doesn't look like it from there, but it does from the van.
Not a fantastic angle, but has pressure, unlike the other boats. The angle is what's hurting him, and he's tucking in behind most boats now.
Ooh, yeah, he's just given away about 4 places, which isn't the best. Sean Keane, are you down there and can you hear us?
Yeah, g'day guys, it's good to be online. I am down here, I can hear you loud and clear. Just a couple of things, excellent points about that breeze coming off the shoreline. It definitely helped Largs Bay's start. Obviously the angle coming back didn't quite assist there, but I tell you what, it is really, really hot out here. I do feel for the sailors, and it's going to be, over the regatta who can keep their concentration the longest in this sort of conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your take on it at the moment though, Sean? Like, obviously we've got the 5 of them breaking off to the port side of the course. Do you think it's going to pay for the Grange team who's taken it wide?
Yeah, it's a Grange team over the far side. Obviously with this little breeze, it's just who can stay in pressure the longest. They've stayed in pressure at the moment, but to be honest, it looks like it's going to pass out a little bit on them here. So we'll see how they go at the bottom bark.
Did history repeat there with what Largs have already tried to do in this downwind?
Yeah, I think so, but I think they'll be able to come back in a little bit better. Like I said, it's just the pressure is just so little and so inconsistent at the moment, so it really is quite hard to play at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks so much, Sean. We'll come back to you soon. And Ollie, we've just got a bit of an inside look at the Brighton boat there. Lots of heads out of the boat. What would you be thinking if that was you right now?
Yeah, it's great to see all the heads on that Brighton Sea Cliff boat spinning around, trying to find any little piece of wind they can. I think pressure is king, and it seems down the course that the Royal Perth Yacht Club are moving along quite nicely.
Yeah, they've got a blinder there, haven't they?
They've just found a little bit of pressure, dropping their kite, coming into that right-hand gate, looking down, and a handy little lead there.
Yeah, and from that angle, I mean, you'd almost arguably say that the other mark could have been closer. It's definitely further to go, but it is the mark that is in pressure on the starboard side of the course there when you're looking downwind. So we've got our Royal Perth guys coming around the top mark in first, at least a 4 to 5 length lead. And then we have Boat 3, our youth team from the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, headed up by Fraser Baker, and Boat 2, which is our Largs Bay Sailing Club team. So Ryan Kelly, although didn't look great around that top mark, has come back pretty okay.
Yeah, and Grange Sailing Club.
It's a big angle. Sorry.
Grange Sailing Clubs decided to go to that left-hand mark looking down. They started the race on that windward end of the line. So they obviously think that paid off for them somewhat. And they've gone there again. They've got Aussie Higgins from the Brighton Sea Cliff Yacht Club following him round. But yeah.
What can they see that no one else can?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you get a little bit of a lift off that point as well, the Harts Mill point there. But you're probably in a bit less pressure. So although you're sailing a better angle, there's certainly less pressure there.
Yeah. I mean, any day where there's this sort of thermal breeze, it is going to be a little bit more closer to the shore, isn't it, as well? And you do have a really big heat pad, I suppose, across there with that massive car park that we can see on the drone shot. So you'd imagine that there's a little bit of breeze sucking into that space. But we've got a pretty mammoth tide in here right now, so there'd probably be a fair few factors that they're trying to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. And in these elimination races, it doesn't matter what you come.
Just not last.
You just need to get out of last. So, yeah, throwing yourself out there a little bit. We see Granger's gone, Grange Sailing Club's gone back to cover that boat inshore, and yeah, the boat's up to windward, who went to the right-hand mark looking down and are really slow with no angle. So
no angle at all. They may as well be going downwind compared to the guys on the right-hand side of the course at the moment. It looks like that little historical Harts Mill jaunt for the two boats has been a real game changer. Again, as Ollie said, the aim of the game is not to be last this time around. So as long as they're doing that, at least they're getting some good intel off this course.
Yeah,
in this
absolutely. We're just struggling to see who is actually behind at the moment, but it's very close between the last four, who were the first four rounding the bottom mark. So
how quickly it changes.
That's how quickly it can change. Looks like boat 3, Carter Baker.
Oh, I reckon that's Fraser.
Fraser.
It's very soft out there again, and that breeze really is doing some pretty gnarly things. I can imagine it is difficult for Maddie Salter, who is running the racing at the moment, to keep her eye on and make sure that this racing remains as fair as possible. But wow, those guys have absolutely bolted up the right-hand side of the course. Is that?
Yeah, how's that for a wind change there? Yeah, certainly edge of your seat stuff, Alex.
Fell in a little bit of breeze, did a beautiful tack and had a lot better groove, obviously coming in with that pressure, and just absolutely smoked the fleet.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sean. It definitely looked like that from up here. What's it look like down there at the moment? Is that right hand definitely the persistent breeze at the moment?
I wouldn't use the word persistent, I guess. There is a little bit of breeze coming across the course at the moment now, which the fleet has just hit. So inside shift on that is working at the moment. But as I said before, and it's really, really hot out here, and just any breeze is good breeze at the moment, just to get the sails working.
Absolutely, and we see Royal Perth Yacht Club, who were just quite a fair bit ahead there, Sean, now second, and a pretty comfy second though, you've got to say. They've taken the port mark. Is there thinking behind that, or is that it's just in the right spot?
Yeah, I think that's just the breeze coming across the course at the right time. They were positioned to be first to that breeze at that point in time. Again, if I was, coming around the top mark now, I'd be trying to find the pressure, but it looks like that a little puff that's gone across the course is dropping out now. So yeah, really, really tough conditions out here for the sailors.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get a pan out to the drone shot soon, just so we can see how much that fleet spread has actually come across this time round. Ollie, it looks like there is a bit of gap now between the top players.
Yeah, the two red spinnaker boats, Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club and the Royal Perth Yacht Club, have cleared out a little bit, but it's certainly game on, because one bad move, one bad jibe, and things change very quickly.
Absolutely. It wasn't looking good for Carter Baker at all at that bottom mark, but here we are now, and he's back up into third, which is a great little birthday treat for him. Hopefully it gets him through to the next round. And who are we looking at coming out, or bringing out the back end of the fleet now?
Yeah, it looks like number 4, Grange Sailing Club, is going to be last around this top mark. And I don't know if they did much wrong then, Alex. They seemed to turn the right bottom mark. But they just fell in a little bit of a hole and struggled to keep the boat moving, while others found enough to get them round.
Absolutely, and we really see that equaliser now, which is typical of a river location. The breeze coming down and bringing the boats down the course into the leaders. So hopefully for the guys on board the Royal Perth Yacht Club boat, they have got enough of a lead to be able to keep this one in the bag, I suppose. But hey, here comes Grange. It's just
wow! Look at the little puff that they're in to leeward of everyone, and yeah, by that camera angle on water, it certainly looks pretty good for Grange Sailing Club.
And just like that, it all changes again, doesn't it? That's a really good shot there of the guys from Grange all sitting to leeward, trying to keep that kite as full as possible, and obviously riding that wave of momentum as well, which would have helped them out in the days prior to today. But really soft, low-level moves to keep it going.
Yeah, probably using a little bit of gravity there just to keep the sails on the right side. I think every boat is trying to get that leeward heel now. So.
Absolutely, and we've got the Royal Perth Yacht Club coming in to finish that race. A little bit of argy-bargy between our friends on board the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia youth boat and the Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club. So it'd be interesting to see if Aussie holds Fraser out here and what that looks like. We're also going to have all 3 boats driving back on port, so that's going to throw another spanner in the works for them and really brings Grange Sailing Club back into the game, and looks like he's actually going to come through a 3rd place.
Yeah, this finish is going to be very close here, Alex. Obviously, boats coming in on starboard and a couple going over the top of each other. So.
Absolutely. I'm not going to try and call that because that's all a bit too close for us.
We'll leave that one to the officials on the water. Between those 3 boats, it certainly looks very tight, and obviously elimination race.
Oh, and we have a penalty there. Can't tell you who it's for, unfortunately. I don't have those sorts of eyes yet. Sean, are you able to let us know what just went down?
Yeah, guys, that penalty was just on boat number 5, so that's Aussie Higgins and the crew. I think it was because they didn't keep way coming back on port. So, yeah, really tight finish there at the end, and disappointing for Aussie Higgins and the crew, but, I mean, what a race, guys. So many changes of positions. I'm sure that's what the crowd want to see.
Absolutely, snakes and ladders out there. Thanks so much, Sean. And, yeah, as you said, that would mean that Aussie, unfortunately, will be eliminated from the mix, and we'll be down to 5 boats in our next race.
Just blast in there, mate.
What's that, mate?
He's going to interview Aussie. Yeah, just blast straight in there. Just blast straight in there.
Hopefully we'll be able to have a bit of a quick chat to Aussie after what was a really up and down race. He had the lead at the top mark and unfortunately didn't come away with the chockies by the time they got to the finish. So hopefully we can get an idea of how that all went down to him and what that kind of looked like.
Yeah, guys, we're just pulling up to Aussie Higgins now. We're just getting closer and closer. Just give me 2 seconds. Oh, Aussie. Aussie, how'd you find that, mate? Really up and down race, really hard conditions out here. What was your take?
Yeah, it was pretty hard. We leading around the top mark and then just sailed into no wind and got past, basically, and can't do much. Tried to find the wind and didn't find us.
And coming into the finish there, obviously that was a red flag for you guys. What was that? What was the cause of that?
I think it was in wind with leeward. Didn't keep clear of the leeward boat, basically, yeah.
Sure. So going into the next race, I mean, as I said, tough conditions. Is there a change of plan or what are you looking for now?
Just probably trying to keep our eyes on the wind. Probably a bit more on the start line for the next race.
Sure. Beautiful. So just coming through on the comms end, that was actually an elimination race, guys. So unfortunately, Aussie will be out. Here's confusion there. So we'll look forward to the next race. But he did make a couple of good points about, again, how tricky the race is, trying to stay in some breeze and keep that boat moving in the right direction.
Thanks so much for that, Sean. Yeah, it was a real up and down race, and unfortunately for Aussie, he is eliminated from the event, and they'll be back on the dock and probably pretty happy about it, given how hot it is out there and how light the conditions are. What's your take, Sean? What would you be doing if you were out there racing right now?
Yeah, obviously the start will be a real key for the next one. There's a nice little bit of pressure, probably more favouring the left-hand side of the course at the moment. So, you know, even a rerun of what Largs Bay did in that first race. But again, it's really heads out the boat sort of stuff and trying to choose the right direction to go based on what the course conditions are, because they really are changing super quick at the moment. So, yeah, heads out the boat for everyone.
Absolutely, and that's what we saw, wasn't it, Ollie? We had a boat in the lead, boat coming last. I think everyone was in every position throughout that race.
Yeah, certainly, and that's, I guess, part of the fun of it, part of the challenge.
What fun is that?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely very stressful, this sailing league sort of racing, but yeah, it's quite appealing because you're always in it, as I said earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you and I have a bit of a history, I suppose, of meeting up on the start line of a sailing league race. I think Geelong a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So.
Yes, you won.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put that out there first.
Oh, no. It's just how quickly it could change. Like even that regatta. Yes, we had our bingle on the start, and it probably ruined both our regattas. And I scraped into finals. You just missed out, and anyone, if you get through to finals, anyone can win it from there. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I was lucky enough in that one.
I think the good thing for me was that it was COVID and nothing happened in the end anyway.
Yeah, that's exactly
I
right.
felt great.
I've hardly sailed since those days, so.
Feels like just yesterday. And I think that is the cool part of this racing, and obviously one design racing anyway, and we all kind of come from those sorts of classes at the moment where everything is very, very similar, which really brings out the best sailor. But I think on a day like today is a bit of luck as well. Like looking at that last race, no one could pick that.
Yeah, for sure. I do think the wind seems to have filled in a bit just as we go into the 3 minute here. So hopefully this race will be a little bit less reversing of orders, but we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely. Have we got you there, Sean Keane?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm glad you haven't got anyway. This breeze, Ollie and I were just saying it has increased a little bit. Is that the feeling that you're getting out in the water?
Yeah, that is the general feeling. I mean, I just had a quick chat to Jason Clark there, who said it's really, really tough. His comments were that you end up going what you think's the right way, and then the breeze runs out and comes from another direction. So probably a good comments to summarise Jason Clark's most previous race there, where he went from first to a little bit back up to third. But yeah, again, really tough conditions, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Clark was one of those ones out there who looked famous for a little bit and then didn't look famous at all, but managed to get through and, make it through the next round. Again, going into this next race, the boat that does come last will be eliminated. So there'll be 2 more of those races before we get down to the final 3. So really the aim of the game, Ollie, as you know, don't come last.
Yeah, just stay alive. Do whatever you can to get out of last if you're there. Take that risk that might get you through. There's no point sitting and just following anyone. So
Absolutely, you do need to have a high risk appetite to sail this type of sailing, and also pretty good control of your cortisol levels, I'd say. And a minute 20 or a bit less now before this next start. And having a look here, we've got 3 boats favouring the left side of the course at the moment, and 2 still thinking that underneath the historic Harts Mill, as Sean continues to refer to it as, the 2 boats up there milling around, hoping for a boat end start.
That's fine. No,
Yeah, no, Harts Mill is an absolute great place, absolute icon of Port Adelaide.
Do you know actually anything about Harts Mill, Sean, or is it just that you like it?
I just like the place. I remember one year we had a Laneway Music Festival there. That was probably my biggest memory of the place, and yeah, that turned out to be a great day. So hopefully we can have just as much fun here today on the water.
We can only hope so. Was it just as hot that day?
Yeah, it was, but not in terms of outside temperature.
Good to know. And we've got 20 seconds to go into this start, Ollie. How are we looking here? What do you reckon? Where would you want to be?
yeah, a lot of boats are actually heading to that Harts Mill side of the line, which tells me that it's certainly filled in across the course. There's a CY boat. I'm not sure
2,
which boat
1.
it is at the pin end.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got one boat going out on... Are they on the other tack?
Yeah, they're on
They
the
sure
starboard,
are.
the port, sorry. So
It's
2
boat 2
boats
large,
heading
mate.
into Harts Mill there. Another couple pinned out coming to this left-hand side of the racecourse.
And a nice tack there, big roll tack from Jason and the Grange team, and quickly followed by the Earth team. Rolled into it nicely. Really want to keep those momentum through those movements today.
I
Yeah,
tell you what, you
absolutely.
can really
One boat
notice the
tack,
standard of
one
boat
boat.
handling and how that has improved over the last 3 years with the SA Sailing League. Everyone looks really confident, really strong in their boats, and happy to put it in places that might be or might have been of risk in previous years.
Yeah, absolutely. And a little bit more risk taking, I guess, comes with those high level skills in the boat, don't they, Sean? Ollie, have you also seen that increase in, boat handling and skills out in the water? Do you feel that the level has lifted from all those days back ago in Geelong?
I believe so. I think with a lot of classes out there now in asymmetrics, symmetrics, in this 20-foot sports boat range, I think everyone's bringing skills from their own local classes, their own local fleets, and bring it to events like this. And I think it's certainly lifting the standard across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're seeing them all coming into this top mark. We do have a bit of a breakaway of 4, and then one boat is a little bit further down the course. But, you know, as we know from the last race, it is anyone's game. And that boat is, it looks like Carter Baker, who's just gone in for a slow tack there off the western shore. But, hey, slow tack, but tacked in a nice spot. Looks like there's a fair bit of pace there coming back at that whole fleet, really.
Yeah, I thought they were quite a bit behind, but a good tack, nice little wind shift, and they're certainly back on the tails of the fleet.
Absolutely, and that comes back to what you've been talking about, Sean, about those higher boat skills and boat handling skills, and meaning that those are places where people can gain throughout the course. Do you think that is something that works for guys like Carter and the guys from the youth team that are on the water a bit more than the others?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you can see the guys who spend the most time in the boat, their boat handling skills are definitely a little bit better. To be honest, though, again, against previous years, I think your top boat compared to the boats a little lower down, there was a big gap. I think that gap in boat handling skills is definitely shortened, and now it's a lot more even along the playing field.
Yeah, definitely. And now I'm starting to think that perhaps Ryan Kelly has been out doing a few Elliott sessions, because if we're basing everything on the boat handling skills, those guys are looking pretty slick at the moment. I mean, Matt Hansen is on board. That does make a difference.
Yeah, I think these guys have done this a few times, even though Ryan's been Luke Stevens' left-hand man, winning 2 of them, being on the main sheet. He's jumped on the tiller, and they're obviously... They work well as a team. They know how to sail these boats, and yeah, it's showing a little bit. A beautiful jibe there from the Largs Bay sailing team.
You can imagine Matt Hansen is running those comms definitely to keep that kite full through those jibes. Having sailed with him last year, he runs a tight ship, definitely.
I actually saw Matt Hansen out with his laptop pre-race, just running through a few Excel spreadsheets as well. So I think that's definitely helping him at the moment.
You reckon he's just crunching some data, Sean? That's the key to success.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's worked for him, so why not?
Well, it's not his first rodeo, is it? What do you reckon there, Berner? We've got there coming across. We've got the youth team, Fraser, coming across on starboard, who's actually just done a number on Ryan. So perhaps Mr. Hansen's Excel spreadsheet is letting him down a little bit there.
Yeah, it's incredible how with different marks you're going 180 degrees separate to each other, but Royal Perth Yacht Club seems to be running down this shore very nicely, got a real nice angle and speed, so potentially could just get their own little private down this shore, which looks like it's happening.
And it looks like boat 6 there, Royal Perth Yacht Club, they went around in a really good position, and it has taken them a while to get going, but it looks like it was all worth it. Absolutely sailed over the top of everyone with pace.
Yeah, they're just keeping the boat moving, I guess, and as you said earlier in the first race, they've got that nice little leeward heel, and just while they've got wind, they're rolling with it.
And 0 to hero, or hero to 0, unfortunately, for the Largs Bay Sailing Club team there. It just didn't quite pay off to do that double jibe early on, but I don't really think they had a better option.
Yeah, I think every time you move the boat, you slow down, and I think they probably just tried to do too much there. As we say that, it looks like they're rolling into another jibe.
Why not do more? Once you've done a couple, do one more. It looks like Royal Perth have run out a bit of breeze there too, so it'll be interesting to see if they are able to carry that a little bit longer. But here we go, CYC with Carter on the helm and Ryan making a comeback again.
I'll just, instead of...
Yeah, incredible racing here, those blue kites and
Yeah, we've got the goose swing at the moment from the Royal Perth Yacht Club guys, really trying their best to get deep enough to get around that mark cleanly. And I don't know if it's going to pay so much for them when you've got someone like Fraser, who's coming Buffalo Girls around the outside of the whole thing, and is going to come around a really good spot. That's alongside Grange as well, who've just snuck in there out of just about nowhere.
It's really good to see all the boats basically rounding at the same time, and that's the sort of racing we get in these competitions.
It's anyone's game again, hey?
Yeah, certainly. They're all going to the same mark as well. Tacks are critical here.
Yeah, and pushing a huge angle there. We've just seen a really slow tack from the Grange Sailing Club team, but I mean, that all paid for them somehow.
Yeah, there's certainly potential that if they do get their boat going, as we hear a whistle from the umpires.
Sean, any ideas what that flag was for?
I don't actually have visuals on that at the moment, sorry. We were just backing up from a pylon. But you can see when the breeze does come through, it does come over from this western shore. And so the people that are lucky enough to be that side when the breeze is rolling through are definitely making the most of it. We saw that with Royal Perth come down with it on the previous leg to move up a few spots, and Grange and the boats to the left here should be in a good spot.
Yeah, gotcha. That flag wasn't for you guys in the pylon, was it?
Could have been. I think the pylon had us on starboard, so who knows.
It's anyone's game so far. Ollie, looks like we've got all these guys, well, pretty much the majority of the fleet on port tack.
Yeah, and all on very nice angles, almost looking like they could lay with a little lift. We'll just have to wait and see here. They might be on really nice angles, but only probably 2 or 3 of them are actually moving at any great speed.
And having a look there on board the Largs Bay boat, we've got everyone very, very far forward. Pretty much everyone's taking a knee as well, just really, really soft, smooth movements, and looks like they may be thinking about attack. About sailing a very flat boat compared to the others. Unfortunately, not really paying for them either. Fraser just sailing out over the top of them there. And having a look across the course, I mean, still anyone's game, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks as though Largs Bay Sailing Club's just sailing in a little bit of dirty air there from number 3 Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and probably just suffering a little bit, but doesn't have much else to do. They're all on the lay, probably just needs to suck it and get round the mark and see what happens on this other end.
Absolutely. I mean, it is frustrating though, isn't it, when there's just nothing more that you can do as a skipper of a boat. You try and put it in the right spot, and if you're sailing a soldier's course, unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it. But we're just having a look here at the left side of the screen, and Royal Perth Yacht Club have gone around the top mark in first place. And they did this not last race, but the first, I think, leg of last race. So they've been there before. Let's see if they can hold the lead all the way to the end. No boat has done that yet, I don't think.
Yeah, they're certainly favouring this shore side. As the boat goes around the right-hand mark, it'll be interesting to see if Royal Perth can hold their pressure coming down on this shore.
And that boat going around the other mark, or the starboard top mark, was Carter Baker in boat 1. He's representing the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and we did have around about the same time was Grange Sailing Club led by Jason Clark. So it'd be interesting to see what pays off once they get to, I guess, midway down this course. But we also see boat 3, which is Fraser Baker, so the Baker boys, both going to the starboard mark, and unfortunately for the the Largs Bay Sailing team, just a slow slog to get to the top mark. How's it looking out there, Sean? What's your feeling?
Yeah, not much breeze out here still at the moment. I think Royal Perth are going down in a little bit there. Grange sort of trailing behind and a little bit as well that might catch them. But I do feel sorry for the Largs Bay team coming up here. Wasn't much they could really do up that upwind work, and then they just had to avoid a boat on starboard there as well, so had to double tack to get back to the top mark. A little bit of pain, so hopefully they get a little bit of breeze here to get them through to the finish.
Yeah, absolutely, Sean. I mean, we know from the last race, and just about any time we sail on the Port River, that it's anyone's game. So it'd be interesting to see if these guys can claw their way back into the next round, remembering that the last boat out, Ollie, is eliminated, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Largs Bay's only hope here is that a few boats stuff each other up, because they're all on the lay to the finish line. You can just see Largs Bay there on the screen and what they're facing. They're really hoping that the boats in front play with each other a little bit.
Well, that's what we saw in the last race, wasn't it?
Yeah, certainly. You'd think that the boats in front, they're all, as it stands, they're all getting through. So you'd think that they wouldn't play with each other. They're not going to go over the top of each other. They're not going to bring the umpires into the race and potentially cost themselves qualification through to that finals. But yeah, they're probably just a little bit above lay, so there might be a few jibes.
And at that angle, I mean, it looks like the Largs Bay boat's got a fair bit of pace behind them at the moment, but just popping out the back window of the van here, and I can kind of see the rest of the fleet are probably going at the same pace. It is tricky for Largs Bay as well, just being a little bit higher there than boat 3. I mean, they can make them suffer, but they're going to have to pull off a miracle to keep to get ahead of them here. It looks like they're setting up for a jibe, and it's a Simo jibe with Fraser Baker, so it'd be interesting to see what comes of this. And great jibe there from the Largs Bay crew.
Yeah, they've certainly got speed there, so it's just whether they can roll over the top of boat 3 here, or whether boat 3 is going to be able to hold on and get down to the finish line.
It is very close out there, and maybe if they were just a couple of lengths closer, they could have come away with this one. But I do think that it looks like Fraser's going to turn inside and take that 4th place and a spot in the next race, or the final elimination race for the day. How are we looking out there, Sean? Are you able to catch up with the Largs Bay guys?
Yeah, we're just coming up to the Largs Bay boat now. They're just dropping their kite for the final time of today, unfortunately for them. Just coming alongside Ryan O'Kelly. Ryan, tough race there, mate, but a bit of stakes and ladders going on.
Yeah, it was heaps going on that race, so just couldn't pick it. But no, I mean, we had our chances probably yesterday, and today swung back the other way. But no, the other guys sailed well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as you sail away here, really good effort to make the final. As you said, you haven't steered a lot in the past few years. How did it feel being back on the stick?
Yeah, really enjoyed it. I mean, I offered Snook if he wanted the main sheet back today, but he wasn't keen, so we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I mean, you've obviously sailed a little bit against these guys over the weekend now. Who do you think's the hot boat? Who do you think's going to take it out from here?
I reckon Jace is a bit of a dark horse. He's going quick, he's got the hot shots, and he's looking fresh, so yeah, he said he's been prepping for it, so my money's on the big man. Nah,
Jace does certainly look fresh, that's for sure. I think he went to bed early last night just to make sure he could have a good crack at it today. But thanks for having us, Rhino. Bad luck again, mate. All the better luck next year, though. Yeah, guys, again, as Rhino just said, tough conditions out here. It can be a little bit of pot luck, depending on what side of the course you are. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we can get a little bit of breeze and move in. Some good racing, continue some good racing towards the end of the day. It's always good having events down here at Port Adelaide. Amazing facility we have. We're very lucky to have the boats sail around. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't come to play at the moment, but you know it's good we're still sailing and getting some action in on the water. So big crowd over here as well along the side. It's good that the people and the locals have come out to support the event. So yeah, really great day. Just good to be out on the water. To be honest as well, it's probably a little bit cooler out here than it is on shore. With that little breeze, when that does come through, you can notice a difference in the heat. A bit more cloud cover out here now as well, so that's making all the difference and is much needed. So I'm sure on the camera here you can see the sweat around my eyeballs. That's not water, that's genuine, it's hot. And as I said, I feel really sorry for the sailors that they're going through, but you know, lots of water, keep your hydration up and keep it going. So again, yeah, great day here out in the water, and hopefully we can keep getting some races in and get some really good sailing.
Absolutely. The sweat there from you, Sean, definitely shows how hard you're working out there, and thank you so much for your post-race interviews. I think definitely we can resonate with Ryan Kelly and it being such a missed bag out there. It's hard to pick who's going to be at the top, but we do just need to retract and apologise that we had things a little bit the wrong way round. Fraser Baker is actually sailing the open boat for the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and Carter Baker is steering the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia's youth team. So boat 1 being Fraser and boat 3 being Carter. So we do apologise for that, and we hope to get that right moving forward. But they will both be a part of the next race, which will be a 4-boat race between the Baker Boys, and Grange Sailing Club led by Jason Clark, and the Royal Perth Yacht Club with John Bucknell on board, or steering that boat. And having a bit of a look here at the beautiful Port Adelaide map there, we can see lots of the good parts of Adelaide, well, at least this area of Adelaide I think is the best part. But having a look here, we do have the breeze on course, and it looks like we've got 7 knots at the moment. So not many arrows, or as many arrows as we'd like to see, showing that we are a bit down at the moment. But hey, at least there's breeze and at least we can race. Sean, do you agree with what we're seeing, 7 knots?
No, not really, to be honest. 7 knots, maybe absolutely at max, but I mean, it's super patchy. I mean, where I'm sitting right now, there's probably lucky to be 3 or 4. You can see over the other side of the course, maybe a little bit more than that, but again, 7 knots, very inconsistent if it is there.
Yeah, it's definitely a thinking person's game at the moment. We do have this final race now, Sean, before the final series does kick off. So the boat that comes last is out, and the 3 others will progress to the final. What's your thoughts? Who's looking hot as we enter the 3 minutes?
Yeah, no, it's been really, really close racing here so far. I mean, as we've mentioned a couple of times now, it's very much snakes and ladders. So you got to say the hot team at the moment is the Perth Yacht Club. They've been consistently up the mark, and close behind them is probably Grange Sailing Club with Jace Clark at the helm. So those 2, I think, they'll definitely look to go through. In terms of elimination, it'd be hard to put a name to it. I mean, it could be anyone really today, especially with the way the breeze is working. So I'll let you know after the start, and might be able to give you a bit more insight then.
Or maybe at the end of the race. That's probably the easiest time to pick it. We do have, I guess, the older the 2 older heads and the 2 younger heads, and I'd say that the younger guys have had a lot more time on these boats, so it's going to be interesting to see if those skills do come to hand in this final race as we come down to almost 2 minutes before the start. And just having a look down towards the other end of the port and panning across towards the historic Harts Mill.
Hello, can you hear me?
We've got all 4 boats at the starboard end of the line at the moment.
So we're going to do next race.
Yeah, I'll swap back for the interview.
Yeah.
So we'll do the interview like we normally did.
Yeah.
And then once they've sailed off, you're still doing your piece like you did then.
And definitely more pressure here. The boats are moving around the line a lot more than they have been so far today, which is good to see, and hopefully we keep this up throughout the last couple of races.
You don't have to just talk shit.
Yeah. Well, I thought that's what you wanted. I thought you wanted
Bit less than 1:30 to go, Sean. What are you thinking?
Yeah, a little bit of breeze has come through now, probably from the left-hand side of the course. My goal here would be to stay close to the start line, keep the boat moving, and try to be first out to the left to get back onto port tack. Seems the boats that have done that the last couple of times have seemed to do well.
Absolutely, I think I'd be thinking something similar myself, but mostly more than anything just to keep the boat moving. That seems to be the pick at the moment to get them through. And so we come down to 50 seconds before this last elimination race start.
Can you hear me, Harry?
All 4 boats at the starboard end of the line. And tacking underneath is Carter Baker, the lowest of the 4 boats at the moment, or the most to leeward, and really burning down those last 20 seconds with some manoeuvres. Hopefully has enough momentum to tack and get clear, and looks like Carter's going for around the outside and tacking over the top of the fleet, which is a risky but hopefully a move that pays off for him. I'm really wanting to keep that momentum at go. They've all come quite a way down the line from where they actually began. We've got Royal Perth Yacht Club at the bottom of the stack. Above them is Grange Sailing Club. And then the 2 CYC SA boats at the top of the course, and definitely sailing very different angles. How are we looking out there, Sean?
Yeah, Royal Perth were actually really lucky to get back behind the start line then. They went a little bit early and were getting pushed up a little bit by Grange, but they managed to be able to come down, get back behind the start line and go from there in a clear lane. So Boat number 3, I can't quite see who that is, but they had a really good high line on starboard. They've just started to knock down now over to the left-hand side as well, as it looks like the fleet's starting to roll onto port-hand tack. So be interesting to see the positions of the boat as they line up here, and I think this could be really advantageous for boat number 1 heading out.
Absolutely. It looks like they've all just tacked into order there a little bit, and there is a bit of space between all of them at the moment. But I don't know, I kind of like where boat 3 is sitting at the moment.
Yeah, sure.
And we've got Royal Perth Yacht Club on the top of this stack, the most to windward boat to the left-hand side of the course. Not got the pace that they have so far, and both CYC SA boats are looking really speedy out on that right-hand side of the course, just hoping that they find something to come back on. Sean, it does seem like there's not so much breeze in the middle of the course. Is that right to say?
Yeah, that's correct. To be honest, there's not much breeze at all. There's a few little puffs coming through, but yeah, Carter Baker looks really good on that outside run now. He's lifting up on port tack. He's just come back across on the fleet though, and this will be a tight cross here with his brother.
It'll be a nice little port starboard there. Both boats deciding to tack instead of duck. And a Simo tack back to that starboard top mark as well. Does that look like the paying mark at the moment?
Yeah, I think so. It'll be really probably important to jibe quickly as he comes around the mark to get back into some of this pressure coming from the western side of the course. But if you can do that and hold a clear lane, I think that'll be the way to go. Oh, as I say that, looks like he's tacking across.
You must be seeing something good out of the left-hand side, hey?
Yeah, the pressure is definitely coming from this side. So he's just got to get in and obviously make sure he stays in there. But it is definitely coming from the western side at the moment.
And a nice clean rounding from those guys. Around both marks at the same time, pretty much. Both CYCSA teams, and straight into a beautiful jibe, boat 3 there, led by Carter Baker. That was really nicely done. Early port starboard as well here potentially, but it looks like Fraser may cross quite easily. And just to keep the brotherly rivalry going, a jibe on top of Fraser there by Carter, so that may slow the two of them down a little bit and let the other guys back into the game to some extent, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out down the course. Having a look here, Sean, there's pretty similar setups on both boats 1 and 3. Is that what you're seeing out on the water?
Yeah, it looks like that at the moment. You can tell they do a lot of training against each other and probably similar coaching as well. So similar approaches to how they sail the boat, and it's definitely working for them in this race.
Fantastic. And at the other end of the fleet, we've got Royal Perth and Grange just trying to hang in there with the young guys. What's that looking like, that battle at the back?
Yeah, I mean, I gave them a big rap pre-race, didn't I? And they really paid me back here. So I feel a little bit sorry for them. They're not heaps of breeze that are in at the moment. I'd say probably the Baker guys have got a little bit more where they are. They will have to jibe back very soon. But again, who knows? Snakes and ladders. We'll see if they can make a play and get back into it.
Absolutely, and as we can see here on screen, just a jibe there from Carter, trying to heat the boat back up and keep it moving as best he can, and Fraser coming away really nice and clean as well, a lot closer to the ley line. So it's hard to pick them out there today. As we all know though, the battle in this race really is to, as we keep saying, not come last. So it's really all pressure on Royal Perth and Grange at the moment, with the two Baker boys up the front to keep in the game. So it'd be interesting to see how that one plays out at the back end.
If you were going to have a shot, you just need to make sure Like, do you use
Yeah, you'd think that would definitely be in Jason Clark's and the Royal Perth Yacht Club's minds at the moment. As you said, don't come last. Maybe even cover from third position to maintain that position. So we'll see what Jace decides up to do here on the next upwind work.
bang? Zoom.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Saying all of that while we watch the Baker guys come around the mark, those guys are the highest angle that they've been probably all day on starboard tack. It's a big game changer potentially. Royal Perth going to the port mark. Maybe they're seeing what's playing out on the other side of the course where these guys are higher than they've been all day. Are we seeing even pressure out there, Sean?
Looks like there's a little bit more pressure here on the left-hand side of the course. I mean, Royal Perth have just tacked over onto starboard and seem a little bit lower. Actually, that's starting to hit the rest of the fleet now. So, sort of even boat height across the fleet at the moment. I mean, by my eyes, it looks like there's a little bit more pressure into the left, but we'll see what angle the number one boat comes back on as they're starting to knock in as they get closer to shore as well. So, Carter's decided to tack over here, and Fraser's decided to match him down. Initial thoughts is they look pretty good coming out of that tack, and I know Royal Perth was coming from a long way back, but I think they've almost made a slight gain there as well, to be honest.
Yeah. What would you be thinking if you were Jason Clark right now?
I mean, they're making the best of what they've got. Royal Perth is looked to tack off and go the other side. I mean, they've split the fleet already, so it's really, if I was Clark, I'd almost keep committing to the left-hand side here, take that knock inshore and see what I can come back on. If Jace is looking up the course, you can see that Fraser's lifting on port tack really nicely up to those top cans, so you'd think that would be the next shift and try to take advantage of that at some point.
Yeah, as we see on screen now, the Grange sailing team just rolling into attack there. Interestingly, probably not as much roll as the younger guys are getting on the boats, and I guess that's just part of sailing them all the time, but still a nice tack, got them into the right spot, and they've got good pressure by the looks of things.
Yeah, we're just behind them now on the water, so they are sitting in really nice pressure. I think this looks like it'll hold all the way up to the can, as the top can as well, so this could even drop back Carter Baker to third position, as Jace has just been hit by a big knock, as I said that. But he's still in breeze, so hopefully he can do something with it.
And doing what we all get told to do when we're in our junior sailing years, when you start to knock, you tack right, and he did it right on cue. So we see Fraser Baker going around the top mark in first place, kite up, and in a nice bit of pressure. He's really separated from his brother and the rest of the fleet there. And we've got Jason Clark rolling into attack, also going to that port hand mark. But it looks like it will be CYC SA 1 and 2 around the top, with Grange slipping into third place.
Yeah, Carter ended up hitting that pressure really nicely and lifting up on starboard tack to make the can there, as Jace was knocking as well. So, I mean, we've been talking about it, but as we talk through it again, it really is snakes and ladders and really hard to pick what the angle is going to do in each bit of pressure.
Yeah, it really goes to show one man's loss is another man's gain, isn't it? And that's exactly how it played out there. The CYCSA boat was on the right side of that one for sure. And a little bit of a wine glass on the Grange boat, but that's now all but out. And they'll be looking at a quick jibe there so as to not hit the side of the riverbank there. And looking on the water, there's the Royal Perth Yacht Club going for their final Jesus card, going to the starboard top mark, which is different to what everyone else did, but hey, it really is anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, just follow the last boat.
A wine glass that would be a bit of a tough one to take after really clawing their way back. And if we can, just zoom out a little bit, we can see really the big difference between the boats at the moment. In fact, I think Royal Perth got their way back into that a little bit, Sean.
Yeah, Jace Clark and the Grange team have just shied back onto starboard over the closer side of the course. We're following Royal Perth now, who are going out a little bit. They are sitting in nice pressure here. It looks like they're starting to go past it a little bit though, so jibe back soon might be the go, which it looks like they're settling into now. So jibe back, they should have nice pressure for a little bit, but their angle might tighten as they get closer to the bottom here and they run out a little bit of breeze.
That was a nice job. Really nice.
Yeah, so they look really nice coming down here. Nice little bit of pressure. Boat nice and consistent in the water. This could get close down to the bottom mark with Jace, but we'll see who can hold the pressure the longest. It looks like it's starting to die out. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to die out here on Perth now. Hopefully they can just hold that momentum and may have to come up a touch and angle.
Yeah, it's really, really close here coming into the end of it now. Perhaps Perth might just, will they get in there? Will they not? Do you want to call it now, Sean?
Oh, actually, it's too close to tell, even from my angle here. We're sitting behind Perth, so it looks like Perth's side of the line was a little bit favoured, so that might be to their advantage, but I don't know, I couldn't see properly at all.
All right, I think maybe it might have just been granged, only just, but we'll have to wait for the official word.
There you go, Perth eliminated. They did catch up a lot coming into the bottom there with that little bit of extra breeze, but Grange just had too much of a lead on them in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that could have gone either way, and amazing for Perth to kind of even get back in the game so late on. So it'd be good to hear what their thinking was when you get to them, Sean.
Yeah, just coming up to alongside them now. We'll just grab the side stay and park up against them.
Yeah, no worries. Jib off, guys.
So, John, really close racing there. Did really well to come back and have a red hot crack at it at the last leg.
Absolutely, yeah. We had a bit of a shocker of a start, so yeah, it was just about recovering from that. Saw a few opportunities out the other side and we thought we'd take the risk. Worked out at the end, sort of, and yeah, just didn't quite get us across the line in time, but that's okay.
Yeah, sure. A little bit of tough luck. You were almost the form boat of the fleet coming into that race. What was your sort of strategy in those first couple of races?
Just look for the pressure, keep it clean. Where we failed, I think, was just keeping it clean off the start. Got a little bit caught by a hook, so anyway, we'll live and learn.
Nah, it's good. And you guys have been doing a little bit of sports boat sailing or a lot of sailing at the moment?
We've been training for about 2 months as a team together. You know, we're all sort of relatively new to sailing together, so yeah, no, we have Elliot Sevens back at Royal Perth Yacht Club, so we're able to utilise the resource over there to be able to train ready for this regatta. So
yeah, sure. And obviously a big trip to Adelaide. I mean, I just want to thank you on behalf of all South Australians here for coming over. A huge effort. What was the trip like? Was the preparation like leading up to the regatta?
Oh, look, it was a big effort by the team, and thanks very much to them, and also thanks very much to the Royal Perth Yacht Club for supporting us. Thanks to the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and also Down Under Sail, Harry and the team. Yeah, absolutely fantastic event to put together for this one. We had so much fun, and you'll see us again soon.
Great news, and great to chat to the guys, and again, huge effort for coming over to Adelaide. I know we had Ollie Burnell and the Tasmanian team come over, but you know, more and more boats coming from interstate every year shows the quality of the competition and how the standards are improving. So well done again. Thanks guys for coming, and I hope to see you next year. Beautiful.
Cool.
So we'll just we'll let these guys go, and we'll peel off at the moment.
Thanks very much.
And I guess back to you, Alex.
Thanks so much, Sean. And I just want to give a bit of a shout out to Sophia's parents, who apparently will be logging in today to hear from all of us. That is Debbie and Claudio Priscillo. We are really glad to have them watching, hopefully from back home in Perth. And it is fantastic to have our interstate guys over here. It really keeps the league alive and allows us to obviously get better and better out on the water, which means we'll all do better on the world stage, the ultimate goal. So, Sean, we're down to our final three elimination races done, and we've got 3 final boats left standing. Those ones are Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, led by Carter Baker, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, led by Fraser Baker, and the Grange Sailing Club, led by Jason Clark. So Jason does get his podium, which we kind of toyed with earlier today. Who do you think is going to take the chockies home, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put the mockers on anyone as I just did that race. But look, you know, the Baker boys, they do a lot of sailing in these boats. I think Carter was probably unlucky to get eliminated early last year. He was definitely the form boat of the fleet up until the finals last year. So yeah, you'd think he would be around the mark. I mean, Jace has come out really strongly today. He's done 2 or 3 years of this regatta for the Grange Sailing Club as well now. And again, first time in the finals, but lots of time in the boat, and he's a very, very smart sailor. To be honest, I haven't seen a lot of Fraser Baker, but my sources tell me that he's come along a lot in the last couple of years and is a really strong sailor in his own right. So, I mean, hot competition, and we just can't wait to see who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it all comes down to the next few races, and I do believe, and I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but it is the first boat to get, I think it's 2 wins, or it could be 3 wins. So I'm just waiting for confirmation on that. Sean, do you know?
Also waiting for confirmation from this end as well. But I mean, that sort of format, it does make it, you have to be really aggressive to get those race wins. So, I mean, and you would have had a similar experience last year, Alex, that you find that one boat goes for it, and a couple of other boats can be racing each other, which allows the one boat to get in front. So, three is sort of that awkward number, but it does put the emphasis on, hey, let's make sure we go for the race win, let's clear out, let's be aggressive and do what we can.
Absolutely, and speaking of 3, that also is the 3 minutes just passed now, so we are coming up to 2 minutes 30 on the clock before the start of this first final series race. So,
I've just got Jace Clark and Rosie O'Donnell coming past at the moment. Really cheeky smiles on their faces. They're cool, they're calm, they're relaxed. They look pretty confident on that boat right now.
Pretty impressed they're cool given how hot it is out there.
Oh, super cool.
And having a look, they are all on that boat end of the line, heading up towards the historic Harts Mill, which is kind of different to the way that they all sailed in the last race. They all tended more towards the left-hand side of the course. So I don't know if anything has changed out there recently, but we are in that 2 minutes now before the gun. But it could just be that they want that clear run with pace down the line to keep them going.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit less pressure on the race course than there was this time last start. So I think they'll be able to manage to get back to the start line with no issues. But a little bit less pressure and a little bit more holy on the course at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic. And just getting confirmed comms that it is the first boat to 2 wins. So the first boat to get 2 wins today will take away the Harken SA Sailing League Championship. And we do have those 3 boats in the final as we enter the final minute and 15 seconds before the first finals race. And zooming out there, we do see that the 3 boats are all pretty close together, which could be a bit of tactic after, if any of them watched last year's racing, where if one boat got let go, they seem to take the win, as Sean mentioned earlier. So 40 seconds to go. Interesting to see if there's an aggressive approach here from Grange to lock the 2 CYCSA boats out, which doesn't seem to be his style yet. Be interesting to see how it plays out. $15 seconds to go now. Sean, how's it looking on the line?
Boats, I mean, obviously close together. To be honest, it wasn't as aggressive as I thought it may be on that line. One looks like they'll have a clean start off the bottom. Even boat speed straight off the line as well. So everyone's sort of got a clear lane at the moment, so it'll be all about that first shift up the race course.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great if we could see up the course. There we go. And all 3 soldiers just heading towards that top mark. It'd be interesting to see if Grange can hold in there. It's going to be tricky to maintain that slot in such light breeze. Unfortunately, it looks like they aren't able to hold pace just as well as they could, kind of being squeezed out by both CYCSA boats in this instance. So perhaps an early tack for Grange. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, they've got to go there, and which they are right now. So they'll go out, clear their air. Oh, yeah, they are now. So they'll go out, clear their air, as the CYC guys are just about to hear a really nice breeze as well. So it looks like Jace has sort of hasn't been able to get room there to tack out and look to press, so he's created that room for himself now. It does have clear air, but it's still in a tough position on the racecourse.
Yeah, that's really going to hurt, and you can definitely see the tide influence there. They were just going sideways for a couple of seconds, which isn't helpful when you're trying to get to a top mark. And just having a look back there at Grange's attempt to get out of that Baker brother wedge, unfortunately just weren't able to clear the back of Fraser Baker's boat there, of Carter Baker's boat there. So unfortunately they had to do a double tack and have been spat out the back. So Grange, fingers crossed for a miracle that some breeze comes their way, and look, that might just be it. Anything can happen on the Port River. It's looking really light out there, Sean.
Yeah, Grange is probably in the best of it at the moment, but the best of not much, to be honest. So the Fraser Baker just coming around the top can at the moment. Looks like he'll bear away around that, and Carter closely followed behind. So JC's in good pressure and will come up to this left-hand top mark. You'd think he'd tack around it, jibe and try to stay in this pressure as well. Fraser probably made the right call coming back to this side of the course. This is where it's feeding from at the moment, as it has, to be honest, most of the day now. So he looks like he's got a good little spot there, and may even extend a little bit from that position as well.
Yeah, just about breathing ahead as best they can in these very limited breezes, but it looks like the Grange Sailing Club boat has come around with a fair bit of pressure there, or at least the gust of the moment, and has put themselves back in the game. Really have some nice pace there. And all sitting very far forward. You can tell when the stern of an Elliott is out of the water, that the weight is very far forward. Having a look on the Grange boat, we've got Rose O'Donnell just cleaning up all the bits and bobs around the boat, making sure that the manoeuvres go smoothly, and that's really what you need in these light airs, is just to make sure that when you want to go for a jibe, it could be a split-second decision and the boat just needs to be set to go. How's that looking out there now, Sean? Has Grange managed to roll out over the top?
They're just holding on at the moment. They did come out with the best of the pressure for the first leg, or the first half of that leg, sorry. Now they're just trying to get a little bit of, or they were trying to get some depth. But it looks like now they're going for boat speed and a jibe back. So it might be a tight manoeuvre at the bottom, but I think the Carter, who's dropping their kite now, will have them. As Fraser comes around the bottom mark, they've got some kite issues at the front at the moment, so they're just trying to get that away. To be honest, at the moment, that's holding them up from tacking as well, so they should just get a tack in and try to get onto port as soon as they can, really.
Stay with one.
Yeah, they managed to get that away pretty quickly, though, that kite on board Fraser's boat, which is good, but a little bit of argy-bargy at the bottom mark, and unfortunately, although I've talked up their ability to get their halyards clear, a late drop on board the Grange boat, which may hurt them a little bit as well. Nice roll tack there from Fraser team.
Yeah, so really nice pressure that Fraser's got on the course right now as well. So, and a really good position on the fleet. So you expect him to continue to consolidate from here. Yeah, looking really good going up to the mark.
A little bit of mint eyes though when I see a spinnaker sheet dragging off the side of the boat. Don't know about you. Looks like a little bit of slow going now. That pressure's probably not on the course as much as it has been in that last lap.
Yeah, so up and down, really up and down. I mean, it has been the way all day. When the pressure is building, it's coming from that western shore. And you can see big differences between the up pressure and the down pressure. So, I mean, boats working through big angles to just try to keep the boat going through the water.
Yeah, absolutely, and it does look like, unfortunately for Grange, they just look a little bit dead in the water up there. I'm not sure if it's a breeze thing or just where the body weight is at the moment, but the boats 1 and 3 from the CYCSA both seem a little bit more, I guess, sprightly in the water. And thank goodness the Fraser's bow girl up there has pulled that kite shed in. That makes me feel much better.
Yeah, I think she must have heard you on the commentary, Alex. She's got that in there now. It's all nice and tidy. So, again, looking pretty good coming up to this top mark now. Carter's just tacked over there onto starboard. Looks like he's spot on the lay line as well. So, nice little tack there. And unfortunately, Granger's been left a little bit out the back.
Yeah, they'll hopefully be looking for a reset and a bullet in the next race just to keep them in the game. But it looks like we've got a split now, which is something we haven't seen from the Baker boys so far. They seem to be going around the same marks quite often. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out at the bottom mark.
Yeah, absolutely. The Baker boys sounds like a English DJ group or something, doesn't it? But they're sailing really well out here and doing a great job at the moment.
I mean, they could be an English DJ group. Who are we to say?
Yeah, I know it was Carter Baker's birthday yesterday, I'm pretty sure. So I did hear a rumour that he had to go on the DJ decks and was busting some tunes. So, but he's sailing really well today, so doing a great job.
Absolutely. Maybe he just needs this every day before a big final series, but it obviously hasn't done him any harm. He's got him for a Simo jibe there and sitting on top of his brother trying to soak some of that breeze. And we do still have Grange still going to that final top mark as well. Unfortunately, it's got a bit spat out the back. And again, favouring for those guys, the Port top mark.
Yeah, they've been pretty routine in their approach, Grange Sailing Club. So unfortunately, it's just the distance behind now that won't come into their favour. So, but I mean, overall, I think talking to Clarkey, his expectations coming into this regatta, they'll probably be happy with the top 3, and they've sat a really good regatta and sailed really well. So, credit to the team there.
Absolutely. I think making the top 3 in this sort of racing is always a huge accomplishment, and I say that because I came third last year. But, to come out in such a high calibre, and like you've already mentioned today a couple of times, Sean, just these guys' skills and boat handling's getting better and better. But Clarkey to get in the top 3 this year really goes to show that it's paying off for him. So the SA Harken Sailing League, may go to a Baker boy, but hey, a few more races left in us today.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the format, I mean, that is the joys of the format. It's on race wins. So, it's almost if you do get a third, it's, that happened. Let's forget about that and let's go out and win the next couple of races. So, not the end of the world, but a really good start for Fraser Baker here in the first race.
A win's a win, right? You've got to take it where you can get it, and that means that the Fraser only needs to get another win to actually take away the whole championship. So let's see if he's able to reciprocate that in the next race, which should be starting pretty quickly as we see both the CYCSA boats dropping their kites as they finish off that race, and Grange just making their way.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just coming up to Fraser and the team now. If you guys just want to pull your boat up so we can say good day. Really well sailed, guys. Obviously, a really tough breeze out here at the moment. What was the thoughts or the strategy going into that race?
I just really wanted clear air, and I didn't really want to mess around with it. With this breeze, you can't really tell which way to go, so clear air is your safest bet.
Yeah, absolutely. It is tough conditions out here. So that's one race win on the board. You only need one more to take out the championship. What's the thoughts there?
I'm hyped. I'm excited. This is first sail league. I've been nervous. Versus my brother especially makes it even better. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit of family rivalry there, I'd imagine, being two brothers. Good to get one over him. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, it feels great. It feels really good.
Awesome, and great to see two CYC boats in the final. So well sailed, guys, and all the best for the next couple of races, if there needs be. Yeah, you could see he was excited there when I asked him about the brotherly rivalry. His face actually really did light up, so it does mean something to him, and I'd imagine it would be great to get one over him there.
Absolutely, and I think we all know Carter has been pushing for this event for quite a while now, so for Fraser to come in and get the first win in the final will probably be a little bit bitter for him, but hey, you'd love to be the Baker parents right now, wouldn't you? Sitting there seeing both your boys in the final, batting it out against each other, and I mean, it still is really anyone's game, but Fraser does seem to be in form, and with a bit of a lighter crew too, Sean, that's probably going to help them across the line. Do we think Grange still have legs to get through?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't really write Grange out at the moment. I mean, as we were saying before, it's a third. It's sort of that happened. Let's look to the next race and see what they can do. Easier said than done, but if you win the next one, you're right in the ballpark to take out the regatta, and then you win the next one after that, and it's all yours. So I know it sounds simple and it is hard to do, especially against the talented Baker family. So we'll see what happens on the race course, which it actually looks like the breeze is dying out a little bit again. So hopefully we can get that wave of pressure or line of pressure come through soon and get straight into the next race.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine Maddie Salter is keen to get the next race underway while we have a little bit of something around. And I guess it's just a good reminder of how good this place that we get to sail is, Port River, and a special thanks to the Port Adelaide Enfield Council for allowing us to sail here this weekend. But, as a supporter of us and a supporter of sailing, it gives us a great facility and probably one of the only places with wind in Adelaide right now, Sean.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I can't quite see the coast from here, but there's not much breeze here, but a little bit more than nothing is always good. So, good, good race conditions because there is wind. Not ideal probably, but I mean, it's good to have really close competitive sailing and a good crowd out here watching as well.
Absolutely. I think we could all safely say we'd love 15 bags of breeze every day, but, we take what we can get, and that is the beauty of this sport as we approach the 2-minute 30 mark in a few seconds into this second finals race. And the play of the field at the moment is that Fraser Baker, CYCSA Open, is currently in the lead with 1 win, and if he's able to take another win in this race, he will take away the Harken SA Sailing League Championship. But we do still have Carter Baker on board boat 3 from the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and Jason Clark, Grange Sailing Club, both yet to win a race in this final series, but it's anyone's game.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see if both Carter Baker and Jason Clark's approach changes here. Whether they look to target Fraser a little bit more and be a little bit more aggressive on that start line to try to stop him from winning that race. I know that can be a little bit risky if it doesn't quite offer in your favour, especially when race wins are so important. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I guess it comes down to who paid the damage deposit in the Baker family this week.
Yeah, I mean, Carter Baker 18 now, so surely he's taking his own expenses.
You'd hope so. We'll leave that TBA.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. What's your view like up there, Alex? Have you got much view from the drone? Can you see the breeze coming along the water?
Oh, look, it looks like a lovely mirror at the moment, Lake Port River. It doesn't look like there's much out there, unfortunately, but we are getting a fantastic shot of the port, which is always nice and scenic as we approach the 1-minute 10 mark in this final series race.
Yeah, that sun's just come out a little bit more as well now, starting to really crisp up the legs nicely. So, I mean, probably not too many more races for the sailors here as we get closer to the end, but definitely concentration under this heat would be coming into play at the moment.
Yeah, and just keeping hydrated is pretty quick racing in the sense that once they're finished, they only get about 5 to 10 minutes before they have to get back into it. So keeping those water levels up is super important. Coming up to 30 seconds to go. Everyone's milling around the top. Are we seeing any aggressive moves here, or are they just kind of doing their thing again?
Looks super similar to last start, to be honest. So I know Fraser said that his focus was clean air off the start line and getting to breeze first. So it looks like he's taking that approach again. Clarkie sort of trying to be that leeward boat, it looks like, where he was stuck in the middle last time. So be interesting to see how he ends up.
Yeah, a bit of danger there for Clarkie on board the Grange boat. He dipped over the top of the starboard or the boat end of the line, so it looks like he's recrossed and been able to start properly, which is good as we head into, we complete the countdown for the race. All 3 boats sailing out on port.
Yeah, absolutely, and Carter Baker's just flipped over onto a quick tack onto port there, so he split the fleet straight away. Oh, Fraser going straight away. Oh, Clarkie also going straight away. So now everyone's on single file and on port hand tack. So this could be advantage Jace, especially with a little bit of breeze coming down through the first half of the fleet here.
absolutely. And this is really what Grange need to keep in this this final series at the moment. But just from this angle that we can see on screen at the moment, the both CYCSA boats are just really quick through the water. Even having a look there, it looks like that Grange boat is a little bit more bound up. So hopefully they hear those coaching tips like the other guys heard about their spinnaker sheet, because that could help them along the way. But it's tough out there.
Yeah, no, great pick up, Alex. It definitely looks like the boat response to the initial gust is probably advantage CYC there. But saying that, Jace has built his momentum up and starting to come back a little bit now is his inside shift. So boats are lined up evenly from my point of view at the moment, but it'll be interesting to see what the next round of breeze does up this course.
Yeah, anything coming out of the left is really playing into Jason's favour at the moment, and they may not be quick, but they're definitely on the right angle and in the right spot. So that may just be all they need.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jace sort of at this point in the course, last work or the work before, did get a heavy knock that he could tack onto now. So it'd be interesting to see if that happens again. It looks like Carter's come across onto attack and his angle is not too bad. So, but Jace will definitely should cross both boats here and be lead boat coming back to the mark.
I hope he's not too nice to them. I'd be flipping attack him pretty quickly.
Yeah, one thing I have noticed this year is that it's everyone's very friendly on the water. I've been in previous sailing leagues where it's been vocal and quite combative, even in internal boats. But it's everyone's very, very nice, and you know, this new wave sailing, it's good. It's like the Australian cricket team almost.
How is that all going out there?
Not sure. Has anyone got the score?
I don't know if we want to know. That might be the thing. But
all happening here out in the water, you know. Yeah.
It's nothing better to watch at the moment than the SA Harken Sailing League, as it is in its final stages, hopefully in the next couple of races. So we have Jason Clark from Grange Sailing Club for the first time, I think, today, going to this starboard top mark, which I've got a bit of whiplash there. I didn't think he had it in him, but he's heading that way. And let's see if that pays for them as the other two boats, led by Fraser and Carter Baker, head to the port top mark.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like Carter went a little bit further there just to try to protect his position a bit more and keep Fraser out. So Carter's tacking around the mark at the moment. Meanwhile, Grange Sailing Club had a really nice kite set. Got a little bit of pressure in the sails at the moment, but I'm not sure how long that will hold for, that breeze.
Yeah, they did come around pretty smoothly, and interestingly, Fraser actually decided to reach down to the starboard mark and follow the Grange course there. So it'd be interesting to see if Carter's port hand rounding will pay off.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the western side is where the breeze is coming from, but I think the boats are finding that side. It's really hard to get down to the mark when they're going that buoy that's closer to the shore. So more often than not, the consistent VMG or the consistent angle from the starboard mark is probably better going into the finish and just keeping that boat speed all the way down.
Yeah, it's not the sort of day where you want to be jibing if you can help it, really.
Yeah, not at all. And I mean, I think, Carter's trying to run a bit of a lower groove now, and he's got a little bit of pressure to work with and get that depth. But it'll be interesting to see once that sort of closes off if he can drive back in a reasonable position. It seems like Fraser's just stalling out a little bit here as I say that as well. So we'll see if he's able to come up a touch and get some speed in the boat.
Yeah, hopefully he listens. They do seem a little bit oversheeted there, which it's always easier to say from the cheap seats, isn't it, Sean? But yeah, they do seem a little bit more oversheeted than the other two boats were. As we see Grange Sailing Club head out from this starboard mark, and they're sailing across on the starboard at the moment, yet to tack. So nowhere near as much angle as they had last time, and a big knock there for them now. So that you'd think that Clarkie would start considering attack.
Yeah, he's considering. He looks like he's considering. Yeah, and he's going. So, yeah, good spot there for Jace to tack in. I think it'll, a really nice spot to defend his position, lead position there as well.
He almost sailed through about 90 degrees or 120 degrees there. That was a huge angle change.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's got a little bit of pressure just feeding through the course now as well. So really nice spot for him to defend, especially if you've got both trailing boats coming through around the same mark as well. So really strong position for Grange here.
Absolutely. I'd say this is probably the best spot they've been in all day. They're just breathing freely, boats rolling through the water, pressure in the sails. Still looks a little bit bound up, but it's working.
Yeah, no, it's working nicely for them this race, absolutely. So, as I said before, nice little breeze they've got there as well. It just looks like they're starting to knock at the moment. So you'd expect that knock to sort of hold in across a little bit more of the course as well. So, yeah, Carter's come around the mark in third position there at the moment as well. But yeah, still all to play for coming up the upwind.
Absolutely, it is still anyone's game, and you know, Fraser will be doing all he can, I imagine, to try and get this win.
Yeah, and he looks like he's got good boat speed there at the moment as well. He's probably going a little bit quicker through the water than Jace again at the moment. So, yeah, nice little angle, nice little boat speed. And I think Carter's really going for it there as he tacks back onto port. I think he's really putting one in, try to see what happens over there.
Absolutely, and the angle that we see on screen at the moment shows that they are all very far apart, and if any knock here will essentially play into Jason's hands. He does seem to be in a good spot down the bottom of that pack. Oh, and a big knock for him,
Yeah.
so he's actually decided to tack there by the looks of things.
Yeah, big knock there that he's tacked on. So nice one for him just to get up to the top mark and play that ladder a little bit, and then both boats coming through still on port there as well.
And I think that the angle is probably a little deceiving that we see on the screen, but I think it is a fair bit closer than it currently looks. At the moment, they're probably only a couple of boat lengths apart from each other, which is great. That means that we're going to have, you know, a real high pressure finish here.
Nah, good eyes there, Alex. I reckon it's spot on, 2 boat lengths from my angle at the crossing point. As I said before, I think Fraser's a little bit quicker through the water, definitely when he's transitioning into those pressure points as well. He's probably taking off a little bit quicker. So be interesting to see. He's tacked in a nice bit of breeze here, and again made a little bit of a gain there. So yeah, close around the top mark, a lot closer than it was at the bottom mark, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and I was going to say exact same at the top mark as well. Really clawed Grange back here, and wow, like the most pressure I think we've seen from the day as the Grange guys get their kite up. And let's see what happens here, because this could potentially be the decider for the winner of this event, with Fraser only needing one more win to take that title.
As Carter comes around the top mark now, third place, get their kite up, and he's gone into a nice set.
Absolutely. A little bit less pressure for them. They didn't come around with quite as much as Grange did, and Grange is at a bit of a risk here of having to do an extra jibe. So keeping in mind that Fraser is on starboard there, this could really, this final manoeuvre really change the way that this race and potentially regatta ends. So let's see what they can all come up with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both of them have got similar sort of pressure there at the moment. It'll really be the jibe back for Jace, as you say, when that pressure drops out a little bit. So Fraser in a strong position coming into the finish. Let's just see if he can hold his nerve and keep Jace Clark out.
Yeah, being a lighter crew as well, they're just able to push that little bit lower, and I mean, all play to them. This could potentially be the whole regatta win on the card. So Jason coming into a jibe here. Here we go, port starboard, who's got it?
He's got a nice little gust there. Looks like it'll be a close cross for Jace. Oh, really close, but
hard to call, isn't it?
Fraser doing all he can do to put the pressure on him, coming down a little bit there, see if he can make a little bit of contact or at least make it close. But it looks like Jason had just got him.
Absolutely, wow. It's almost as close as it can get. But look at that. That means we're going to go into another race to try and see who will decide the championship. And at this stage, it could be either Grange or Fraser. The CYCA Open team led by Fraser Carter. Or, I mean, we could see a comeback from Carter as well. anyone's game.
Yeah, absolutely. And geez, just that last upwind and downwind just shows how tough this course is. I mean, Grange coming out of that bottom mark in a really strong position going up the course. But, Fraser just getting that little bit more breeze and a little bit more boat speed to bring himself back into it. But, really had no right there to get as close as he did.
Absolutely. I mean, like we said all day, snakes and ladders, and it is anyone's game until that final crossing of the line. But are you able to jump on with either Grange? Oh, perfect. It's like Grange in
Yeah,
here,
we're just
and
coming up to Grange now. They're just tacking over, so just trying to get them to avoid the wharf, and then we'll come in. Wherever, mate.
Yeah, it'd be great to hear how we handled that, because that was very close to a loss there, but also a great win.
Can you come over this side, Jace? So you just got Jace Clark here now, skipper of Grange Sailing Club. Got quite tight at the end, mate, a little bit closer. How'd you find that?
Yeah, well, after the first one, we needed to do something a bit different. We were a bit ordinary in that first one, but no, it's good. It's good, close racing. Like pre-start seems to be pretty much where it's all at. So on your game with a minute and a half to go is really important, and then just try and keep it clean and get around the track and stay in the pressure. So
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, obviously you've been consistent over the day. Has your approach changed much going from the eliminations to the finals?
there's a lot of mind games out here with the Baker brothers at the moment pre-start. No, it's good fun. We're trying to stir them up a little bit and see if we can get them off their game and just keep it clean and see what happens. Hopefully we can win this one and we'll be in.
Absolutely. Great words there from Jace. So that's the thing with the format now, 2 wins and the game's over. So Jace will be happy to get, Jace and the team be happy to get one on the board and see if they can get another one now. So I mean, 2 boats with 1 win at the moment. Carter, the only one in the final so far, not to register a win, but I would not write him out at the expense. I think we've seen all day, especially through the heats as well, how quick he is and how good his boat speed is. So again, very hot final series and anyone can really win it from here. So a little bit to come back from, but no reason why they can't be done.
Absolutely, and when he says mind games, I'm sure he's not bullying them or being mean. Otherwise, he'll have a few people to answer to, Mr. Clark there. But we do have essentially an anyone can win situation. We've got 2 boats with 1 win so far, and as you mentioned, Carter Baker does have the opportunity to get a win on the board, and then it's the first to 2. So we'll be having a 3rd finals race, and these guys are really getting value for their money and value for the lack of breeze out there, don't you reckon, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've done a great job to get as many races in as they have. Tough conditions out here, as we've said, for the sailors, but also for the race committee and the umpire boats as well, but also for the media team. You know, it is hot.
Absolutely. I think we've got the toughest job, don't we?
Yeah. No, it's tough out here. I'll tell you what, though, when that breeze comes through, it's nice and cooling a little bit, so not too bad there. I'd hate to be stuck in the van with no aircon.
I mean, we just got to do what we got to do, and at the end of the day, I think we'd all just rather be out there racing, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. As I say that, we've got Greg Allison on the driver of the boat just dipping his hat in the water as well to try to stay cool. So I think a man of the element such as Greg, if he's dipping his hat in the water, you know it's hot.
Absolutely. It was going to be 40 degrees here in Adelaide today, and then we add in all the extra bits like no breeze and a bit of humidity, and it does become quite warm. But just having a look out the back of the van at the moment, and there is a bit of breeze up in that little dock area underneath the new buildings that we're getting around the port. So that looks like the most breeze we've had on the course today, Sean.
Yeah, it does. It's been pulling there a little bit at times, but it's just struggling to make its way down the course as well at times. So it's it'll be interesting to see what happens if they can make its way down. But, you know, again, really, really light at the moment. So hopefully we get a little bit more.
Yeah, and it is something where you've got to constantly think in the back of your mind, don't you? Like, are we going to have to gear up here? Is it, are we going to have to be a little bit quicker with our reaction times and things like that? So although these guys are facing 0 to 5 knots at the moment, they still have to consider the potential for that 8 knot gust, 6 knot gust to come its way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've seen, Fraser make his big grounds when he has hit that pressure and been able to transition into that up pressure really quickly. That's probably where he made his gains in the last race to get so close to Jace. So, that can make the big difference, and that can obviously win you the race.
Absolutely. And do you think that comes from their dinghy background, having to be a little bit more reactive than than perhaps the guys sailing bigger boats?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's important in all boats, really, obviously, to transition the boat into hard pressure and keep the boat going. But, I mean, obviously you're forced to be more reactive with your body weight in a dinghy, so it definitely would help.
Absolutely, and that makes me ask, as we enter the 3 minutes, do you think it's a big dinghy or a little yacht, an Elliott?
Oh, it's just a big cadet, I think. Nah, big dinghy. It's I don't know. It's one of those good boats that
just
are
minus
that are
the
hybrid,
chimes, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. One of those boats that are hybrid enough for the keel sailors to jump back in and feel really comfortable in, but also for the dinghy people to get a good example of what a bigger boat might be like.
Absolutely. As we look at the stern of Boat 1, which is skippered by Fraser Carter, who has 1 win under his belt at the moment, heading into this finals race. We've got 2 minutes 15 before the start. And by the looks of things, Jason Clark again heading back towards the starboard side of the course. So, as he mentioned before, probably a few little mind games out there just to see who comes out on top and comes out clean in this start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's looking to separate himself a little bit at the moment, but it looks like Fraser's coming across to try to defend that a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if the approach changes. I mean, we've seen pretty similar approaches the last 2 times. I wonder if Carter will go for something different because he really needs that race win now. I mean, if he doesn't win this race, it's game over.
Or does Fraser cash in his Christmas brotherly card early and get a few favours out on the racecourse? I mean, you never know. But I think I'd be, dealing my sibling a bit of a good deal if I could get a hand of it myself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's anything goes. You got to do what you got to do to win sometimes. But I guess as long as it stays within the rules,
Absolutely. If the blue book says it's okay, it must be. I don't think there's a brother clause in there yet.
Yeah, maybe added in, but it looks like Fraser here has now gone to put a little bit of regression on Jace, so he's just forced him to tack out as Fraser comes back down to the line. So first sign of regression there, which is good. It's what we like to see.
Absolutely, and we've got 45 seconds on the clock before this final start, and Carter is definitely sticking to the other end of the line at the moment, and you can imagine he must be seeing this pressure that's sitting at the top left pocket of this course at the moment, which again you've mentioned it's been sitting there, but now it seems like it's starting to funnel through, so maybe he's seeing that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think he just wants to keep it clean and keep clean air and give himself some space off the start line, especially as the other two fight and they might discomfort each other.
Absolutely, and 15 seconds on the clock now. Will Carter be able to pull off a port tack start? It is possible. We've seen it before. Big risk in the finals, but I'm here for it. 5 seconds to go.
So Jace has just had to come and dip behind the line there, but it looks really, really close to see whether he was over or not. No call from the race office boat, so it looks like he's clear to go.
All right, and we have Carter Baker on port tack, who's just got slotted in behind both Grange and CYCSA open, heading out to the port side of the course. And Jason tacking on top of Carter.
Yeah, Jace was just receiving a little bit of pressure there from Fraser and couldn't quite hold his lane, so had to tack out in a good spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Fraser come. Yeah, Fraser just come back as well onto port tack. So he's in a good spot now as well. But it looks like Carter's pushing for that left-hand side. So, yeah, consistent racing, very much. Fraser definitely focusing on Jason at the moment as well. So, nice little bit of pressure filling in across the course now as well. So I'm over the right-hand side of the course at the moment. As you can see, the boats lift up a little bit and start to make some wake off the back.
Absolutely, most breeze we've seen on the course today for sure, as we have Jason as the leeward boat going to the right-hand side of the course, and both pretty even speed, I'd say.
Yeah, Jace almost making a little bit of ground there. Looks like he's made the most of that and gone up for a higher groove and really tried to press Fraser a little bit, who's now gone into attack, and Jace following that as well. So. Won't be quite on the lay line. They'll definitely have to tack back to make that mark, it looks like, unless they get a little bit more breeze there.
Yeah, do wonder what the thinking was there. That is very low on the lay line. But, you know, I'm not out there. It's easy from these seats, much easier than it is out in the heat. But both boats look like they're going to try and shoot for that left-hand top mark, which again is the Grange way and has been so far this race session. And just like that, Grange go to the starboard top mark.
Yeah, that's the commentator's curse, isn't it? It's been happening all day to me. So Grange coming around the top can, bearing away nicely as Carter comes in on starboard as well, just put himself into the mix. So really tight here, really aggressive around the top mark. That's what we like to see.
And straight into a jibe set there from Grange. So they're actually getting away and breathing really nicely there. It'll be interesting to see how the other two do happen to affect him.
Yeah, and Carter's just held Fraser up a little bit on the top mark here, giving Jace a little bit of breathing room. So that could be the difference there.
Well, that makes it tough. It makes it a hard conversation. It didn't tonight, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Jace out in front, Carter going a little bit further, searching for something again, I think. I mean, pretty light across the race course again at the moment. So I think probably based on what we've been seeing most of the day, you know, right-hand side of the course as Jace sort of comes back again. So again, commentator curse coming to play.
We should just stop talking now.
Yeah, I think so. We're just watching commentate.
It was a bit of a risky move, I would have said, to drive mid-course. No one's really done that today with success, so it'd be good to see what this does for the Grange boat. And I wonder what they have seen out there, if there is something extra special in the course.
Yeah, absolutely. It sort of looks like he's just trying to protect his position because he's going to come back here leading Carter, back to the bottom mark. So looks like he's just trying to consolidate his position a little bit, but I mean those two moves and not much breeze has cost him.
Absolutely, he's burned away quite a lead there, which is I guess all the work that Carter did for him to let him get out the front, he's just kind of clawed back as well. So interesting to see how Fraser comes back out of this one. It doesn't look like there's much in that right hand side of the course pocket at the moment.
Yeah, really, really light on the race course at the moment. I think the last few downwinds we've seen a bullet or a little bit of breeze fill in across the course as they've been coming down. This is probably the lightest off the breeze work we've had for a while. So you can see the angles have changed. Everyone having to point a little bit higher just to keep those boats going, which again makes it really difficult.
Yeah, and it looks like that top button on Fraser's boat as well, which is not the right way around at the moment, which it doesn't seem like much, but in this sort of breeze, any bit, oh no, is it, no, there it's going to go, hopefully pop the right way, but yeah, every single little bit counts, and it's that sort of stuff that sometimes when you're in these really high intensity racing situations, you forget that you're also having to sail your boat. So hopefully they've got eyes in the sky pretty soon.
Absolutely. So Carter's just putting a little bit of pressure here on Jace, forcing him to lift his angle a little bit. So you'd think Carter would keep pushing him out and then drive back for the lay line. So good pressure being put on Jace here, and good comeback from Carter.
And this could actually bring Fraser back into it too, now that they're all getting involved with each other. Bit of late aggression that you've been looking for, Sean?
Yeah, gotta love the ruthless aggression. It's what it takes, you know, sometimes. So Jace is forced into a jibe here as well, or forced everything to happen. So Carter has jibed on him there. But interesting to see how much space was between the boats. So umpire about to make a decision. Green flag, we've got a green flag, so all good to go.
And here comes Fraser with an absolute gust of the day on starboard jibe. So let's see how that plays out too.
Wow, so Jace has jibed around the mark there, so he'll be first around the mark. Obviously Fraser has to allow buoy room there, so he's sort of outside of the pack and Carter will come up inside. But Jace is slow on the mark, so it's been a difficult manoeuvre there for everyone.
Oh goodness, that is really hard to kind of cop after having that little lead at the top mark for Grange. But wow, well done to Fraser. Buffalo Girls around the outside of it all and put himself in a fantastic position, and in fact a dominant position as he heads towards the top mark for the last time and potentially the last race of the series. It's down between, at the moment, both the Grange boat and CYCSA Open, led by Fraser Baker. Those two boats have one win under their belt, so it leaves us with potentially a winner after this race, a regatta winner.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the breeze is a little bit all over the place here as well. Both lead boats here have got their jibs back winning. The telltale's flying a little bit, but it looks like they're starting to find some consistency of breeze now. So that was a tough around the bottom mark there, very competitive.
And again, it comes back to, we keep talking about it all day, just these tiny little manoeuvres on the race course can really change the whole face of the game. And there we go, we've got Jason tacking and a really nice cover there, beautiful tack by Fraser and the team. Really extended on that there too. Yeah,
really good defensive manoeuvre there. It's really good spot. So it'd be hard for Jace to live there for heaps long. So you'd expect him to tack out as he is now. So he's going back, force this into a bit of attacking duel and see if he can force Fraser to make a mistake.
Yeah, it's whether or not you want to take the bait, isn't it? Because having a look up the course, I reckon Carter's in a really nice spot here. There is pressure coming off this left-hand shore like no tomorrow. It's the empty drink bottles are flying off the bench in the van, and we've got pressure here for the first time again.
Yeah, it has filled in nicely. So Carter coming out of the left-hand side of the course with consistent breeze. So, but I mean, all boats now are in a nice little breeze. So it'll be, yeah, Carter does look very good, to be honest.
Yeah, there's nice pressure there, definitely. And I think he'd be potentially laying that starboard mark. So, hey, this could be Carter coming back into the game for his own win, and then we come down to a do or die race in the last one.
Absolutely.
But it does look like Fraser might be ahead there. Sean, what do you reckon?
Yeah, Fraser tapped back onto starboard, so that nice angle coming in on the ley line. But very close racing here. I mean, this is really tricky for the sailors.
Absolutely, and beautiful defensive sailing from Fraser. You know, these younger guys are really coming up through the ranks quickly, and really just tactical sailing in really challenging conditions. It's great to see.
Yeah, and a bit of frustration starting to creep in for Grange there. Jace just have his hands up in the air. He was, halfway through the last work, he was winning the race, and as quickly as it can happen, he's back down to third. So tough leg there for Grange.
Absolutely. Let's see what this final run does. A tiny little wine glass at the top of the mast on boat one, but it shouldn't do too much. I mean, I would rather have all the kite that I could have today, but I can imagine that they've got their heads forward trying to make sure the boat goes fast. And Carter's going out on, let's see, Port Jibe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
To see what they can do. Oh, and they've jibed there. So interesting call from Fraser, really trying to protect the back of the course.
Absolutely. So yeah, Fraser's still got that wine glass in at the top. I'm not sure if they're actually aware of it on board. They can be quite hard to see when they're in that position. I mean, he's got nice breeze coming through as Carter starts to jibe back. But I wonder if he can hold on from here. This will be interesting.
Yeah, it was a really nice jibe from Carter and the youth team as well. That was nice to see. Their boat is moving really smoothly through the water. Let's see what Fraser does here.
Yeah, so Carter is on starboard, so he'll have right of way, which forces Fraser into a jibe. Again, nice execution of the jibe, but Fraser or Carter.
Their kite free finally.
Yeah, it's free out. So now it's just hanging a little bit off the mast, not quite up all the way, but again, really hard to see, especially when you've got such intense racing.
And are they on lay there for the finish line? Have we got a potential regatta winner here?
From my angle, I'm right down the pin end of the start line at the moment, so I can't quite see. But it does look like Fraser will have the advantage. Very close. Fine margins.
Having a look at this overhead shot, and it looks like Fraser's just going to get ahead and take away the 2024 SA Sailing League, sponsored by Harken and the Port Adelaide Enfield Council. Congratulations to Fraser Baker and his team. What an incredible effort on such a difficult day out on the water, and a difficult series, Sean.
Yeah, really difficult series, but really well done, really well sailed. Yeah, really well sailed from Fraser there. He came through second on that last upwind, I think, and come through to first. So really great job that he's done. And again, half a boat length in it on the finish. It could have gone anywhere.
incredible stuff. And for the young sailor to get that one up, amazing. I know Carter, like we said earlier, has been trying for that one for a few years, and I'm sure for Fraser to come through and grab it, that's going to make an interesting dinner combo tonight. But what a fantastic effort, and wow, congratulations, great sailing.
Yeah, so we're just coming up to the team now. They look stoked, really ecstatic. Still sort of in race mode, to be honest. They're all about getting the boat around and getting it packed down. But yeah, really nice wins as we come up to them now. Congratulations, guys. Well sailed. How was that?
That was amazing. That was terrific.
So talk us through it. Obviously, that was really close racing. You weren't in front all the way, and you had to come back to get that one. So how did you get it? How did you get in front?
We just try to stay calm and sail our own race and try not to worry about the others too much. We just looked for the breeze and we ended up finding it in the end, and we kind of just took us to the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. So we saw that you were a little bit more aggressive on the start line, trying to make some manoeuvres happen with Jace Clark there. So a little bit of a change of approach for you in that last one?
Yeah, well, I kind of knew where I wanted my position on the line, and with him there, I just don't think I could have got it. So I just went aggressive and tried to secure my spot on the line.
Absolutely. So talk us through what you were thinking off the start then. So where did you want to start?
I wanted to be on the boat end side, you could say.
Yeah.
So I was below everyone, and we've been noticing a shift at the top coming over the stuff. So I feel like if I get to that first and I get to the pressure first, I should be able to come on top of everyone and just be in front around the marks.
Yeah.
And then downwind's just controlling your position, diving with them, making sure they don't get any breeze you don't.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. No, great win, guys, great win. And obviously the crew's ecstatic as well. How did you find that?
Well, it was pretty crazy for a first regatta on an Elliot, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you done much sailing in these boats at all before?
No, probably like twice before this.
There you go. So twice sailed and now an absolute champion, SA League champion. So congratulations, guys. Fraser said before that if he won, the crew was going to throw him in the water. Who's up for it? Yeah. There we go. Oh, they laugh at it, but they don't do it. There we go. No, all business.
Kids
all
these days.
I know. All business on board CYC youth team. I think they had a great win here as they posed for the photo, and hopefully they can make a great representation of it at the national and international regattas and come back again next year and defend the crown.
Yeah, what a fantastic effort from them. That is awesome. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Oh, and away he goes.
I hope the tetanus shots are up to date.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic stuff. These guys deserve it. It's been a big and difficult few days of racing, and really came down to the wire there. Unfortunately, Carter Baker wasn't able to get a win in the final series. However, Grain Sailing Club did get one on the board, and then obviously the ultimate winner was the CYCSA Open team led by Fraser Baker. So what an incredible effort for those guys.
They're going to lose this shot in a second, Harry.
All right, Sean, so what's your breakdown from on the water today? What did we see? What did we like? What did we not like apart from the weather?
Yeah, no, it was really good insight speaking to Fraser there. I think as we sort of mentioned in commentary how that breeze was coming over from the top left or the western side of the course. So, I thought it was really insightful how he tried to start, get first to that pressure, and then once he accelerated in that pressure, he could make a consolidation on the fleet and protect his position from there. So very much, similar to what was being said over the comments, and it's nice to know that sometimes your ideas line up with the people that are doing it right. So, but really well sailed. I think, any time or any difference, there wasn't a lot. So. It's really interesting to see how close the racing was. You look at Jace Clark, definitely had his opportunities there. You would say, in that last race that he was doing the right thing and protecting his position, but just got a little bit unlucky with the breeze. I mean, Carter went out hard left, came back on a really nice one and put himself back into context. But Fraser really, too good in the end. So definite difference was that probably transition into the up pressure and that little bit of extra boat speed when needed. And again, probably just getting to the pressure first, as you mentioned before. So, I think CYC would definitely be really happy with their results. I mean, both a youth team and a senior team in the finals. So very, very strong from a really strong club. So great work all around, and it's been a fantastic event so far and a great day.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Sean, and thanks for your comms and eyes on the water. It's definitely been great to have your insights out here today. But that's about it from the 2024 SA Sailing League, sponsored or majorly sponsored by Harken and supported by the city of Port Adelaide, Enfield. It's been a fantastic event, a very hot event, and some hot sailing amongst it all as well. So thanks so much, guys. We'll see you same place, same time next year. Hopefully a bit more breeze and hopefully a little bit less hot. Have a great day.